After Mahasamadhi. One of the greatest saints of this century, Yogiraj Devraha Baba, referred to the event of Baba's death as unrealistic and told his devotees, Baba's death was not a reality. He has played with death many times. Where can he go? He is alive and will ever remain so. The stories that follow support this statement, for they all took place after Baba's Samadhi. People who were with him while he was in his physical body, and those who never met him are still experiencing his care and protection. Many continue to have his darshan in form and in dreams. Saving Bhagwan Singh's life. Baba took care of Bhagwan Singh from the time he lost his parents in childhood. Baba invested him with the sacred thread in his own hand, appointed him the priest of Hanuman temple in Vrindavan, and later gave him the opportunity to serve as the head priest of Sankat Mochan Hanuman temple in Lucknow. The news of Baba's Mahasamadhi had made Bhagwan feel like an orphan once again. Baba was everything to him, his father, mother, and guru. When the kalash containing Baba's remain arrived in Lucknow, his grief was so intense that he thought of ending his life. He made a plan to do this in the following way by jumping off the Hanuman bridge into the Gomti river. The kind hearted and compassionate Baba could not bear this. The next morning, when Bhagwan Singh finished the adoration of Hanumanji, a tall sadhu wearing saffron clothes came into the temple. Pointing to the string of beads around Baba Singh's neck, the sadhu asked, Where did you get this string of beads? Bhagwan Singh told him that Baba Neep Karori had given it to him. Just pointing to the kalash, the sadhu asked, What is inside? When Bhagwan Singh told him that Baba's remains were contained in it, the sadhu said, A lie, it is all a lie. I know Baba Neep Karoli very well. I have come directly from Amarkantak. I saw Baba there wearing sackcloth. The sadhu told Bhagwan Singh that he had asked Baba where he had left his blanket. Baba replied, I left in Kanchi. I wanted to pray in seclusion. Bhagwan Singh was confused. How could Baba be alive when the pot containing his ashes were right in front of him? Hearing when the sadhu had seen his own eyes and shook his resolution to put an end to his life. Speaking exactly like Baba, the sadhu then said, I want to take a bath. Put some soap and water. Bhagwan Singh brought a new cake of soap and putting the water before him offered him his bath. The sadhu asked him to bathe him. As Bhagwan Singh was about to apply soap to his body, the sadhu replied, Sadhus do not use soap. Bhagwan Singh felt that the contradictory remark of the sadhu were again like those of Maharaj. Singh said he had brought the soap at the sadhu's request and that he would certainly use it for him. While he was giving him a bath, Singh felt that the sadhu made the same style-like movement that Maharaj made when given a bath. After the bath, Singh gave the sadhu food and he was about to depart, asking him, Where are you staying? Where can I meet you? The sadhu replied, I am staying at the Hanuman temple in Aminabad. The priest there takes good care of me. You can come and see me whenever you have time. After closing the temple in the afternoon, Bhagwan Singh went to the Hanuman temple in Aminabad to meet the sadhu again the same day. He could not see him anywhere, so he asked the priest about him and described his physical features in detail. The priest said that no sadhu of the description was staying there. But Bhagwan Singh said that the sadhu had told him that he was looking after him. The priest said it was all a lie. This opened Bhagwan Singh's eye. He then believed that Baba Neep Karori came to him in the form of the sadhu to stop him from putting an end to his life. A fruitful blessing. In 1976, Bhuvan Chandra Tiwari was in charge of the roadways at Loharghar and was also a traffic inspector. One night Baba appeared in his dream and said, Tiwari, could you have not performed the Shraddh for your father? Come, let me help you. Immediately the scene changed. He saw himself at his house in the village of Ghugoli. He had all things needed for the Shraddh and was performing the ceremony before Baba. However, he had forgotten to bring a piece of cloth to cover the rice ball that were to be offered. Baba suggested he cover them by spreading some cotton on them. After the ceremony was over, Baba picked up some cotton, picked it on Tiwari's head by way of a blessing, and then left. The dream ended. Next day, the roadways regional manager Jafar came for inspection and asked Tiwari to go to Tanakpur Road with him. Jafar and his wife sat in front of the service car with Mishra, the driver, and their son and Tiwari occupied the back seat. On the way, their car was involved in a head-on collision with an army vehicle at a place called Chupala. Chassis of the car was dented, but the body of the car was not damaged at all. The people sitting in the car had a narrow escape from death, and they all received injury. Jafar's wife fractured her foot. Tiwari escaped with a minor injury on his head at the place where Baba had put the cotton in his dreams 2 days ago. Medicine was applied to the cut, and then it was covered by placing a cotton over it. An unknown guest. In 1973, Braj Bhushan Tandon of Haldwani was sitting with Baba in Kanchi when Baba said, "Get your son married." Tandon said, "I am ready, provided you promise to attend the marriage." Baba gave his consent with a smile. In September of the same year, Baba took Mahasamadhi. Couple of years later, Tandon got his son married. At the reception, the groom was sitting on a beautiful sofa in the middle of a big pavilion at the bride's house. His friend was sitting with him, and some women and children stood in group before him. Just then, an old man wearing a blanket appeared, and by the side of the groom's bed, many people noted the presence of the old man, but none dared to say anything to him. The bride family thought he was a member of the groom's family, and the groom's party thought he was related to the bride's family. When the photograph of the bridegroom and the women and children around him had been taken, old man got up and went towards Tandon. Jeevan Chandraji, a friend of Jeevan Chandra, suggested that some money be given to the old man on an auspicious occasion. At this suggestion, Tandon gave the old man a 5 rupee note. The old man could not accept it and said, "Give it to the beggar who was standing nearby." While the two men diverted their attention to the beggar, the old man went away. Suddenly it appeared to them that the old man was none other than Baba Karoni, who had fulfilled his commitment in that form. His order to give the money to the beggar was an indication of his presence. They searched everywhere for him, but he had disappeared. It was Baba's divine Leela that when the print of the photograph was received, Baba's face was out of the shot, but half of the blanket that he was wearing was seen lying on the sofa. A promise fulfilled. One day in Kanchi, Baba told a devotee that he would bring him a shivling in a special conch with clockwise grooves from the Narmada river. The devotees accepted Baba's word and did not feel the need to remind him of it. After Baba's Mahasamadhi, the devotee felt that there was no possibility of receiving those things. However, one day a young sadhu came and gave him a shivling and a conch, saying that he had been sent for him. The devotee believed that Maharaj came in the guise of that sadhu to fulfill his commitment. Cancer cured. In 1988, Srimati Ram Joshi's health was down due to stomach illness. She finally had to be admitted to a medical college, Allahabad, where doctors examined her carefully and performed an endoscopy to see the inside of the stomach. All the doctors unanimously diagnosed cancer and conducted a biopsy. Dr. Nathani was to operate on her and suggested an early operation without waiting for the biopsy. The family was very concerned about her condition. Her husband wrote many letters expressing her worries to Baba and prayed to him for his blessings. It happened that Dr. Nathani had to leave Allahabad on some urgent work, delaying the operation for 4 days. Meanwhile, Baba's nephew Sagar saw Baba in his dream. Baba was playing marbles the way children do, but he was throwing the marble behind himself, not in front. The family did not understand the meaning of the dream at that time, but Ram's health showed unexpected improvement. When the doctor returned, his attention was drawn to her improved condition and he decided to perform another endoscopy. He found no trace of cancer at this time. Ram was discharged from the hospital and she returned home. Only then was the meaning of Baba throwing marble behind himself was understood. Baba, in the form of a sadhu, at the meeting of the Vrindavan Ashram Trust was going to be held in Vrindavan, and Dikshit Ji, one of the trustees, had to go there early in order to attend. For certain reasons, he did not want to attend the meeting and decided not to go. On the morning of the meeting, a sadhu came and sat in front of the house. When Dikshit Ji asked him where he had come from, the sadhu replied that he had come from Vrindavan. Dikshit Ji said, I had to attend a meeting of the trust of my Guru's ashram in Vrindavan today, but I did not go. As to this, Sadhu said, you must go for the work of your Guru. Dikshit Ji went inside to fetch something to give the sadhu, but when he returned, the sadhu had disappeared. Thought came to him that Baba Neep Karori himself had come in the guise of the sadhu to got him. He got everything to search around, but the sadhu was not to be found anywhere. Dikshit Ji immediately left from Vrindavan by 9 a.m. train and attended the meeting of the trust in the evening. Afterward, he realized that his presence was essential for some decisions on crucial matters were taken that day. As a kitchen worker, in 1983, arrangements for the 15 June Consecration Day ceremony were being made in Kashi. There were a lot of activity in the ashram and devotees from all over India as well as from the countries poured in to attend. A worker came 3 days before the function and asked the manager if he could work for the basic salary. Since a lot of help was required, manager took him at once and gave him the duty of cleaning the kitchen utensils. He worked hard day and night and impressed all who saw him. He greeted everyone with affection and respect and worked without rest. He did the job that had previously been done by 3 people. The ceremony was celebrated in a grand manner on 15 June and about 20,000 people ate prasad. After the bhandara was over, the devotees started leaving the ashram. 4 days later, most of them had gone. One day, the worker left before sunrise, leaving the bedding and other things given to him for his use in good order. He did not even ask for his wages. Sri Ma said that Maharaj often playfully asked her, will you recognize me if I come as a blind man? Will you know me if I wash utensils? In the form of an ordinary man. On the occasion, Devakna Dikshit Ji decided to travel from Lucknow in his home in Kanpur by minibus. He wanted to sit in the front seat, but since a man was already sitting there, he took a seat behind him. The man looked at him and smiled. Dikshit Ji did not understand the reason for his smile and thought that the man might have guessed his desire to sit in the front seat. When the bus was about to start, the man left his seat and got out of the bus. Dikshit Ji immediately occupied the seat in order to reserve it for him. On the way to Kanpur, the bus met with an accident on a bend. 4 or 5 people died and many more were injured. Dikshit Ji only received a minor injury on his head. He was given first aid in the hospital and then discharged. The man who was sitting in the seat that Dikshit Ji had originally occupied was dead. Dikshit Ji firmly believed that Baba was the man who provided him with this seat and thus saved his life.